All right, Scotty, if you just want to start with an opening statement about the meet, and then we'll open it up for questions from there.
You know what, I thought for still as many new routines as we're putting into the lineups, I'm loving what I'm seeing out of those girls, and they're doing a great job. And that's a great improvement over our first meet. We didn't count any falls tonight, but we still had huge mistakes that we need to get rid of. Just little things, easy doable things. So as long as they start just calming down in practice and in warm-ups and in the meet, they're going to be just fine. I did love seeing Emma Wisman go in there. Last time she competed beam for us was a couple of years ago, and it was pretty hard for her, and this was just beautiful. It was good to see her go out there and do that, especially with Ruby out. Ruby had to be pulled out of there at the last second, so we had to throw Emma in, and she did a great job. So proud of that kid. She did great. But other than that, there were things that we were holding up on, still just too much. And then you see the upperclassmen; they're still just progressively going out there and figuring out. And I loved what I saw out of Aubrey Schwartz tonight. She went 9.85 on both of her events, so she did a great job. So we can start inserting her in a couple more routines too. So in a couple more events as well. So that'll be great. And the girls are starting to push each other harder every day in the gym.
Hannah and Carley, I want to ask you guys about Aubrey and Haley as well, being freshmen on the team. What are they bringing to the table every day at practice, and how does that motivate you guys going forward?
I just think they come into the gym every day knowing that they're good at gymnastics, so when they hit their routines, we know that we better hit ours. And I think it just makes us work harder because they are freshmen and they are able to hit every routine that they do with confidence, and it just pushes us harder to do better.
I agree with everything she said. I think something I've noticed out of both Haley and Aubrey is how confident they are in what they do. I hardly ever seen them doubt themselves in their routines or anything. They know what they're doing in each routine, and they know what they bring to the table.
Yeah, Coach Chip, a little bit more on the freshmen too. I mean, seeing the younger gymnasts coming in right now and making a statement this early on, how does that make you feel?
Oh, that's great. It takes so much pressure off these guys. I want to be able to give Karley and Hannah a break here and there throughout the season on stuff, because they're just so reliable, just great competitors. And with these guys getting in there a little bit more at the beginning of the season, that's going to be fantastic. That's just going to help us out later on. Because you still got Kate Coe coming back into floor and bars for sure, and Steph Tervort on bars and floor. We're starting to get a little bit of depth, so it's making these guys just better every day. But it's those freshmen, they're doing a great job. I'm real proud of them.
Coach, I'm curious how you're going to approach this week in practice. You had Mason Bentley score a 9.9 on bars at the best at Utah. She had a little fumble there today. How are you going to approach her, coming into practice next week?
Absolutely the same way I've been approaching her all season long. You know what, Mason she's learning how to compete. She's figuring that stuff out. But if you watch her every day in practice, she never misses bars. She doesn't miss bars. She just attacks bars every time she does it. So what you saw out there tonight was a kid trying too hard not to fall, rather than just being aggressive and going after it. This is like her hometown. She's from Southern Utah, and she really wanted to do good, and I think she maybe just tried a little bit too hard. But when she's relaxed, she's a bar worker. She's beautiful.
Hannah and Karley, can you describe just how different the best Utah meet was from this one? Obviously, being at home is different, but what was it like kind of competing in the second meet as opposed to the first?
I think that from our first meet to this meet, you can tell that we were a little more relaxed. All of us felt more comfortable. It could have been having a home meet could have made people more relaxed, since it's our arena. We practiced in there before. So I think the difference is we were more relaxed and more comfortable with what we're doing, and we realized the changes that we needed to make from the first meet to the second meet, and obviously we're going to still keep working harder for the next meet.
Yeah, I think we did the same thing, and at the Utah meet, you could tell we knew we were good at gymnastics, but we were just holding up a little bit, and I think coming into this one, we knew we could hit our routines, and so we just trusted what we did earlier in the week and the changes we need to make, and I think we did that.
Agreed.
Hannah, coming your floor routine tonight was awesome. You got a 9.9. What was going through your head at that time?
Same thing as usual. I feel like every time I approach an event, I just dial in. I know my keywords of what to do for each event, and so it was the same thing. I approach it like I do in practice, and that's it.
That's it?
Yeah.
That's why these two are such great competitors, because you don't see a change every day they're in practice to when they walk out on that competition floor. They're like machines out there. They're so dialed in.
Scotty, it's the start of your 30th year here. I mean, how does it feel just to be here for 3 decades and kind of pushing the program forward as much as you have?
Honestly, I swear, I feel like I just got here 10 years ago. And I know that sounds crazy. I have more head coaching experience than all of the other Utah coaches all combined easily by like decades. And, but they're all great coaches, and I love it here. I love I love walking in our gym every day. It's the most beautiful gym. And our competition facility, the fans, it's just amazing. And you get to work with like the best people you could ever imagine every day. Just people who are driven and want something great and push themselves for everybody else. And I wouldn't trade it for anything. It's been a great 30 years. I can't believe it's been 30 years. It's so weird to me still.
How has it changed since 30 years? I mean, obviously stuff
Oh
happens.
man. Our first year here, we were lucky to get like 50 people out in the stands. It was pretty brutal. And we knew that was the first thing that we had to address when we got here. So, but it's, the gymnastics and the equipment and even the just craziness of the sport here now. It's amazing, but it's been a fun ride, and it's been really awesome to be part of that the whole time. So.
And Carley, obviously, being under a coach that has this many years of experience, what's that like for you guys? Obviously, you come here wanting to be great gymnasts, and how is he pushing forward in that way?
I think sometimes he tells us some things, and we're like, oh yeah, sure, okay. But we have to trust that he knows exactly what we need to do, and he knows what we're capable of. So it can get hard, but he knows what we can do and what's our best. So we just have to trust what he says, and in the end, our best is always there. So it's worth it.
Yeah, I agree with what Carley said. I mean, Scott's been coaching for so long, so he has so much knowledge about the sport, knowledge about how gymnastics works, and the teammates, how each girl is. And that's one thing I also love about Southern Utah and how he recruits. He recruits girls with good all around, good with school. That's what is most important to him, good with school. Then comes gym, and then he looks at all our morals and just how we all connect with each other. So I love that he does that, and then the way he pushes us to do better is just incredible. Sometimes, like Karley said, we'll be like, why are you telling me this? We're like, that doesn't make sense. But in the end, you get the aha moment and realize, oh, okay, it all makes sense now.
They never believe it until it actually happens.
Yeah.
Mason didn't believe me when I told her she would score 9.9 on bars. She didn't. And first meet out, killed it.
When it comes to the athletes too, that you've seen come in through over the years, how has that changed?
You know what? We can. It's hard because we've had some athletes in the past that you just build upon. The Julie Talbots and the Angie Gunnells and the Elise Wheelers and these girls. They have just pushed this program to new heights, and these two are two of them as well. But it's been crazy, the changes. So.
Perfect. All right, thank you.
Thanks.